Chapter 5. Not knowing that that mad and magical man was about to come crashing into my life again, I ran as fast as I could, alarms blaring all around me. But something was wrong. Every corner I turned, a new red alarm light greeted me. The never-ending siren song ran out. But the corridors remained empty, all quiet to other noise. No one running and scrambling to their action stations, no one screaming in terror. Not that the crew were the screaming in terror type, but when the Daleks were involved, that kind of thing was expected. Even the charging alcoves outside the crew's quarters, each assigned a service droid, were empty. Now running in the direction of my quarters, I passed them and charged into John's. No sign of him. The same story with Alan's quarters, and Alex's charging station was empty, as were all the others. Where the hell was everyone? I decided to make my way to the bridge. At least there I could enable the onboard tracking system. Part of the induction on this vessel was for each crew member to be implanted with a small signal device. The captain told us that it was so she could easily locate work parties on the ship, but we all had our suspicions it was more as a precaution to ensure that nobody went near any cargo we had on board. As I rounded the corner into the main stairwell, the alarm stopped and all the lights went out. Darkness enveloped me for a few moments before the fluorescent backup lighting kicked in. They'd never been used in my lifetime on board, so I wasn't surprised when the two next to me burst into life, flickered, and then died. Further ahead, some stayed lit, others blinked randomly. But I didn't have time to worry about repairs now. I raced up the stairs. On the floor below the bridge, I paused and felt my heart lift when I heard footsteps descending the stairs in the adjacent south stairway above me. Racing up the stairs and running down the unlit corridor towards the bridge, I could see the shadows of many people gathered there. However, as I ran, I tripped on something laying on the floor, and as my eyes grew accustomed to the low light, I had to hold myself back from screaming. Rex, one of the maintenance party usually assigned to engine detail, lay crumpled on the floor. Unscathed, but a look of horror and pain frozen on his face. My stomach twisted, and I had to clasp a hand over my mouth to stop myself being sick. I knew all too well what had done this. Tears now silently rolling down my face, I peered into the crack of the bridge door. The crew were crowded against the far side of the room. One or two of Rex's remaining party were still alive. Others lay on the floor, in front of the 3 Daleks guarding them. These Daleks were the standard bronze we'd come to know and fear whilst the war was going on.
Any further attempts at escape will result in extermination.
The center Dalek's cold metallic tone rang out in the vast room. Its eye stalk moved towards the controls, as if in gesture.
We have disabled the controls of this vessel. Escape is impossible.
The navigation panels were a charred, smoking mess of wires and burnt metal. Even with all the tools I could want and a crew of the best, it could never be repaired. Alan stepped forward, and I prayed he wouldn't do anything stupid. Neither he nor John ever took stupid risks, but I knew all too well John was always the voice of reason.
"What do you want with us? We've done you no harm. This vessel has nothing of any value to you."
His words rang true. However, I guess none of them had been to the hold with the captain. If they had, then they would know that the latter of Alan's words wouldn't have been strictly true. The far right Dalek spoke up now.
Incorrect. We arranged for an infiltrator to be transported on your vessel.
Alan looked puzzled, and then realization dawned on his face.
"You mean that large crate in the hold? I knew there was something off about it. I'll have a few words to say to old bitch Cap when she turns up."
Your captain is dead. She has no further use to the Daleks.
The crew, previously whispering among themselves, were silenced at this revelation. I don't think some of them believed it, and truth to be told, had I not seen it happen myself, I don't think I would have either. The center Dalek now drew its attention to the Dalek on the left.
You will report our progress to the infiltrator. The captains will be prepared for transportation, and the rogue captain must be located.
Transportation? To where? For what purpose? I wish I'd never found out now. However, so preoccupied and mystified by this statement was I, that I hadn't noticed the left Dalek turning to face the doorway until it was too late. It had seen me.
Alert, alert. Rogue captive located. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate.
As I ducked behind the door, I saw the flash of the Dalek's energy weapon discharge, and it rebounded off the door and down the corridor. Picking myself up off the floor, I once again found myself running as the echoing tones of my Dalek pursuer rang out around me, almost as loud as the alarm that had been blaring shortly before.
Halt, halt.
Another energy blast bounced off the wall near me, and I felt the heat from it burn across my cheek. A few inches closer, and I would have been dead. I ran back down the south stairway, half running, half jumping down the steps, deciding my best bet was to try and lose them in the engine room. The thick radiation shielding would help hide me and block their sensors. Making my way to the lowest level now, I reached the long corridor to the engine room. Just one more flight of steps, and I would be down. I couldn't help but let out a short scream as I rounded the corner and came face to face with the black Dalek.
Halt.
Its voice deeper than the others, it towered over me. Suddenly I felt like a small child faced with an unimaginable demon. I tried to run back, but I couldn't draw my gaze away from the Dalek. Knocking into the wall, I fell back, pushing myself along the floor, pleading for my life as the Dalek slowly advanced on me, its eye stalk blazing blue from above. Backed up against the wall at the end of the corridor now, I shut my eyes tightly, waiting for the searing pain and agony that I knew would be worse than anything I could imagine.
Excuse me, I appear to have taken a wrong turn. I was looking for the bridge.
The voice was older and more gravelly, but there was no mistaking it. The Dalek turned to face the old man.
Alert, alert. The doctor is located. Exterminate,